How you going there, guys? Diesel for getting around Oz Camper Trailer Traveling. Thanks for joining us. Righty, so it's time to tell my story. So from a video a couple of weeks ago, I asked you to chuck in the comments what you think I did or what happened at the start of my trip. Most of you are on the money with that one. And while it wasn't my intention to be coy or cheeky about it, the truth was I just wasn't comfortable talking about it because it is pretty embarrassing, I've got to be honest. And while it's really uncomfortable talking about it, you guys have been following us, you know the deal. It's honest. For better or for worse, it is what it is, and this is my story. But the only thing to do now is grab yourself a tinny or a cuppa or whatever it is, and let's get into it. Sit and have a beer or So we had an incident, unfortunately, just as we were at the servo, filling up to hit the road, and now about 2 hours later, not quite ready to talk about it yet. I think we should probably finish up the video here, because I'm not exactly sure what I'm going to do, whether we find another spot or we head home. Rightio, so this trip, man, it's testing me out, hey. Alright, I hope you enjoyed my little recreation video I made there. So that was a scenario, and for those of you who guessed that I put unleaded in here, you're absolutely spot on. So the scenario was, I was with Hurley, completely packed up, ready to go. Well, actually on our way there, thought I'll just do a quick top up and then bang, we'll go. Just fueling up as I always do. But I was just a million miles away. I don't drive this as my daily. I've got the sedan, which just runs on unleaded. And like I said, he had some personal things going on, and I was just filling up, and I just drifted off. I was a million miles away, and I'm just doing an autopilot basically. And then at some point, I looked over the Bowser, just checking how much has gone in there, and suddenly I'm at 30 litres, and that's when I noticed it's bloody unleaded. It's not diesel. Straight away, my mind just started racing. Never done it. Had no idea what to do. Had no idea what could come of it. Anyway, went in, paid for the fuel, jumped in the car, got on the blower to Anita and said, this is what's happened. I got no idea what to do. But if you can, just jump on Google and just do a quick bit of homework if you can. Just like, don't start the car, don't run the car, don't do anything because it's just going to do damage. But I'd already turned the key. I literally drove to the car park directly next door, so it's about 50 metres. And as I was there, my mind was racing. And I chucked in Google, putting in unleaded petrol in a diesel engine, and this is what came up. Putting petrol in a diesel car can result in severe engine damage. It should be rectified by professional service as soon as possible. Adding petrol to diesel fuel creates a solvent that reduces lubrication and can cause critical damage to the fuel pump and associated fuel system. So at this point, the reality of the situation was starting to sink in, and I was just starting to think about all the what if scenarios and all those types of things, and I guess I was still holding out hope that another scenario or another outcome was possible. Trying to get through to my mate, and who's somewhere in the bloody territory doing God knows what. When I got through to Craig, this is what I've done. what do? First thing he said was, I've done it once before, made me feel only just a little bit better, but it was nice to hear that someone else had done it. Probably never would have admitted to me otherwise. Because here I am, you know, bloody 44 years old, and this is the first time I've bloody done anything like this, or even heard of anyone doing it. And basically he said, look, the only option is to get it drained, get your tanks drained, and get it all drained out, because all it's going to do is damage to your vehicle. So whatever you do, don't bloody turn your key on, don't run it, don't do anything. So my mind's bloody racing. Who do I know that can help me with this? You know, who do I know as a mechanic, or who knows someone of a mechanic getting the car towed? Because all the options available to me were, you know, it was just going to cost me a lot of bloody money. And then, you know, suddenly I started thinking, you know, mechanics around, mobile mechanics, any of those types of things. And there was a Bosch dealer just as I was driving up, pretty much the next building ahead of me. And I'm thinking Bosch, they just do spark plugs, and I thought it was just a spare parts place basically for Bosch products. Jumped on Google and found out, no, they actually do car servicing as well. So I walked over and basically walked in and outs, and two guys that I interrupted were there, and after escorting me out of the workshop there for safety reasons, of course, I told the guy my situation, and you know, he said, where you parked? And I said, like, just over there. And straight away he said, oh geez, you know, like, you need to get it drained, but if you call someone out, you know, they're going to charge you maybe $500-600 to do the job, and they're probably going to charge $1 a litre to recycle all the fuel as well. But I could see the guy was thinking, and he had the intention of helping me, which was encouraging. He could see my situation. He knew it was going to cost a lot of money to fix, and he just had an absolute intention to help me, which I was so bloody grateful for. So what he said was, like, he just had to finish up a job and give him about half an hour, and he'll come out and give me a hand. So he jumped in, and myself and him and his mechanic pushed the Pajero, you know, probably 50 metres up around in front of his garage, basically literally out in his car park, and came out with his compressor and his big machine, and they literally connected up to the you know, got under the car and connected up the tank, and what they did was they basically pumped all the fuel out. Now, I'm not 100% sure on the tank capacity in this one here. I was led to believe it was probably a 75 litre tank. They managed to get 73 litres out of it, but there was literally everything they could get out of it, which took maybe 30 to 45 minutes, something like that. So after they drained all the fuel out, it was fairly confident that I should be okay. So I'm not a mechanic, so I'm not going to try and even pretend to know how the damage works and how much of this and that you need, all that sort of stuff. I'd be keen to know from you guys and girls in the know in the comments your experiences, what you've found, and actually what can happen, because I'm sure there's someone else watching this that they haven't yet. It might happen to them, as you know, might be bloody useful to someone later on. Anyway, the guy was pretty sure. He said to me 99% of the fuel, given we put in 30 litres, you know, initially in the tank, if we got that much out and it's only 1% left of unleaded, then you should be fine, and you know, it'll burn off basically. So he charged me $200, which I would have paid more, to be completely honest. The fact that he just dropped everything, and you know, within an hour and a half, something like that, he just had it all taken care of for me, dropped everything he was doing just to help me out. You know, I think he could tell I was pretty bloody relieved, and pretty bloody thankful that he helped me out. And another fairly obvious part of the equation was the fact that I had Hurley here with me, and I couldn't drive him anywhere. I couldn't do much with him other than just let him jump on the tablet and fed him a gut full of snacks, and he was great, pretty well behaved, just sort of sat there and kept himself busy the whole time. Yeah, after I sort of thanked the guys and shook their hand, I drove back to the same servo, making sure I was putting bloody diesel in this time. Filled him up, and off I went. And, you know, obviously it wasn't too long after that where we pulled up for lunch, which is probably half an hour later, and that's where we picked up that episode. And what are we now? I think we're about 3 weeks later, and maybe drove another 600 or 700 k's further that weekend. And obviously in the week since, we haven't had any problems at all. Yeah, which has been great. So clearly, you know, $200 to get it fixed, and full tank of diesel, and that you know, basically watched all get bloody drained out. And again, the guys didn't charge me to get rid of any of it. So there you go, that's my story. It's not a comfortable topic to talk about. Like I was saying, it's not something I'm proud of, and obviously pretty embarrassing, but not to mention the amount of bloody money we blew just because I wasn't paying attention to something. So there you go, that's my story. Please chuck some information in the comments for me. You know, if there's something else I've got to look out for in the future, let me know. I'm all ears, and hopefully this will help out someone else who's in the same situation to know what their options might be. So I reckon that's about enough now. I'm Dudes of Beginner in Oz. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll catch you again next week for another video. Cheers.